upload it to YouTube.
Oh, video sales letter. I'm supposed to do a video sales letter today. What the heck? I'm not feeling that today. Oh.
Okay.
Back to feeling that. Feeling like I could do a video sales letter.
Let me. All right. Where is. All right. Where did I get the link on this last time? I suppose I'll have to go to another page here. And manager, yes. And okay, let me just delete this old stream while I'm thinking about it. A little preventative maintenance. Okay, so let me grab you a link so you can see what the actual thing looks like on live stream.
Okay. It's like an echo. I guess I can shut it off, right?
Yeah, you can turn your audio off on it. And okay, now let's do this on Facebook. Okay, go live. So looks pretty fancy. Pretty fancy, eh?
Yeah, can you put in my name for guest name?
I can. Give me just a second.
Trina Burgess. Oh, man. It's good. Oh, there's a delay on the live, but that's okay, right? Because as long as we're together, then it doesn't matter if that's delayed.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there. Oh, it's going live. There we go. Trina Burgess! So excited!
Okay, so let's send our stream out to Facebook. I gotta wait till it picks up the stream and then go live. Of course, you know this. You've done live streaming on Facebook.
Yeah, but I've never done it from a third, like another provider, another video provider. Myself, I've never actually set it up. I've been on other people's lives where they set it up, like we're on a Zoom meeting and they set it up through StreamYard or something like that, or Restream. But this one is super new.
And we're live on Facebook.
Hooray! Awesome, Dave. So good. Thank you so much for inviting me to your carnivore lifestyle video feed. I'm loving this. I'm so excited to hear. Like, I want to hear more about a little bit about your journey. Maybe we could just take like 2 minutes. Tell me like what's changed for you since you adopted, like found the right food, diet, and lifestyle that is working for you.
Well, I've got several autoimmune diseases, one of which kept me bedridden for over 10 years, and lots of other autoimmune diseases causing pain and skin conditions and all that kind of thing. And it was also really difficult to maintain weight because I've got issues with my thyroid. So at one point I'd weighed 540 pounds.
Wow. And how much are you now?
Right now I'm sitting at 327 approximately. So.
Is that 213? Did I calculate that right?
Pretty much, yeah. And that's
like a person. You lost a person. Wow. Except you found, right? It's like you found life. You got your life back.
Yeah, and I mean the weight loss was only a small part of it. Like I had lost a fair amount of weight on keto before I went carnivore. And I mean the weight loss on keto was great, but I got stuck at about 391.
Okay.
Couldn't get past it. And I've been doing a lot of praying for healing over the years, trying to get rid of all this stuff. But I was always praying for direct, immediate healing, which I was told and pretty clearly in a couple of blessings that wasn't going to happen. So I changed the way I prayed one day, and I asked for guidance to lead me to a solution to my health issues. 2 days later, I've found this diet. And within a couple of weeks, my arthritis pain was gone. I could move my wrists and my hands properly again for the first time in years without pain. And another week after that, and I had to do I had to climb a set of stairs, which I had just done like 3 weeks before. And took absolutely every ounce of strength I had, both hands on the rail, moving real slow. And then I couldn't move for about 3 hours after I got up to the apartment. And 3 weeks later on carnivore, had to do the same trip up the stairs, walked up like a normal person, one hand on the rail, was up in like a normal walking pace. And 10 minutes later, I was fine. And I mean, I'm terribly out of shape because of, so many years bedridden, right? So, I mean, I was definitely out of breath when I hit the top of the stairs, but it was only like a week later, and my neurologist took me off the last of my autoimmune medications. So,
wow, I love that. You were like, the change in diet came when you changed your prayer. That is so cool. Yeah. And then you found what was right for you. Because I know for me, my body craves green leafy vegetables. Like to try and live without that would just not be a happy place for my personal body. But you found something that is working excellent for your body.
Yeah, I mean, and pretty much anybody that has some really serious chronic health issues of just about any type, carnivore is a really good solution. You would not believe the number of people that were type 2 diabetics and taking actual insulin, and carnivore 6 months to a year, and they're no longer diabetic. I mean, if they went back to eating sugar and stuff, they would be, but they're able to stop their medication. And even type 1 diabetics, a lot of them have been able to reduce the amount of insulin by about 50% and almost eliminate their constant swings. Some of them have even been able to go from injectables to pill form with type 1.
Wow.
It's not going to completely cure type 1 because the damage has been done, but it can certainly make their lives an awful lot better.
Wow, that is just blessed. Because years ago I remember watching a documentary on people who also they experienced the same blessings with diabetes. It was like a raw for 30. So they were on just like raw food. That was so it was different. I think it's different for different people's body types, right? And I think the really important message is don't give up, right? Like pray, you'll find a way. You'll find something that works for you, right? And don't expect that everybody has to be the same. That's what I've noticed in my health journey. Not everybody's body responds the same. And so don't judge yourself if this program doesn't work for you. Keep looking. You will find, if you listen to your body and pray, God will lead you to what works for you.
Well, yeah, exactly. This diet isn't for everybody. I'll be the first one to tell people that. But for those with these specific types of health issues, it can absolutely work miracles. I've met, well, not in person, but I've met online people with MS that have completely eliminated it. After my first video that I posted on my YouTube channel about this health journey, I had a guy contact me, and he had MS, and he had been within a few months of dying. And I mean, he had a care worker. He couldn't brush his own teeth. He couldn't comb his hair. He couldn't eat. He couldn't walk. He was completely bedridden and had to have help with absolutely everything. And he finally talked his aide into putting him on the carnivore diet after seeing some information. And it took about a year, and he was well enough. He was able to lay off his care worker, and he was able to do everything for himself. He was out of bed, out of the wheelchair, and didn't even have to use a walker or crutches or anything anymore. And there's just story after story like that. People with cancer, inoperable cancer, that are given 6 or 8 months or 4 months left to live. And they figured out this protocol that seems to work very well, where they go on a water only fast for 3 weeks, which basically forces the tumor smaller. It actually will shrink the tumor A lot of
Wow.
people get like 50 or 60% shrinkage just in that first 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then when they start eating again, they go strict carnivore. A lot of them do the strictest form of carnivore, which is called the lion diet, which means red meat only. No pork, no chicken, no fish, not just red meat. And some of them do that, but some of them just stick with normal carnivore meats. And you know, a very high percentage of those people with inoperable terminal cancer, you know, are still alive years later with no signs of cancer anymore.
Yeah,
And
that is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that because I've been hearing stories like this for years on various different protocols, right? And so it's just awesome to me that like you again are finding this. It's like, well, this is what works for me, right? And just the fact that it's like, you know, there are ways, there is hope. Like somebody somewhere is healing from whatever problem any one of us has, right? Like for me, I was sharing with you, I had like what would be termed a psychotic episode this morning. I started like basically like I'd really just like thoughts that were just hard to deal with, and I started self-harming to get the thoughts to go away. Well, that's a mental health pattern that I lived without. Like I'd found a lot of healing and growth from years ago, but it was like, man, I could connect it directly to a trigger of both negative thought patterns and food that I'd eaten last night, right? That it was like, stink, when I eat that food, it does misery for my mental health. And being aware of that, understanding my own body, being very in tune with my own body and how my body reacts to food is, to me, it's the key. That's how you're going to get better, is you get really intentional and aware of what you put in your body, whether it's like your prayers, right? For you, it's like you had to switch your prayers, your thoughts, your food, your water. Your body is created from all those things that come in. And so when you get really intentional and focused and aware of like, okay, how does this affect my body here? Oh, well, it's either good or it's not so good, and then you can make a choice. So many people just eat for the flavor, and I'm just done with that. I'm so done with that.
well, and the problem with eating for flavor is, you know, when you go to the grocery store and you're buying stuff from the store, you're getting these ultra processed foods where they put all the sugar in because they know that sugar is addictive. It actually affects the same part of the brain as cocaine and heroin, believe it or not.
Yep.
And there's a difference between sugars. You know, regular white sugar is bad enough, but you get that high fructose corn syrup sugar, and it affects twice as large of an area with the same amount of sugar.
I believe it.
And so many people, when they're trying to switch to this type of lifestyle, whether it's keto or carnivore, you know, they have a real problem leaving that sugar alone. You know, some people they just can't. It's like an alcoholic addiction for them.
It absolutely is, and I've walked that journey for years. You know, like over the years, various times when I've like eliminated sugar from my diet, and then I'll come back, and it's even the same story. Like I can remember last Christmas Eve, and I had been eating too much sugar, and I lost control of my emotions, and I dumped on my kids. And I was like, yeah, I'm done with that. So like there was a breakup. It was on Mind Valley. This guy, I see him online a lot, but he was like 7 steps or 7 days to breaking up with sugar or something. And I watched that and I was like, I'm done. But then like I'm feeling better. So then I'm like, okay, I can put in a little, and a little is usually okay, right? But then last night I just had a little too much, and yeah, no, I'm like, no.
Well,
that's not
there's another common food that, actually a couple common foods that a lot of people react to, and they have no idea. They don't know that it's causing stress and inflammation in their body, and that's oils, seed oils, vegetable oils. You know, canola oil. You know, safflower oil, like all of them, because of the way they're processed and heated in the way they're extracted. They can cause a lot of damage. Now, if you get like a cold pressed virgin olive oil, you might be okay. But any oils that have been heated as part of the extraction are really bad news. And a lot of people are allergic to nightshades. And nightshades come in all kinds of flavors. Yeah. Hot spices, potatoes, tomatoes, eggplants, any of that kind of stuff. Like I used to be a huge chili guy. I mean, I've actually got like an award-winning recipe that I've won competitions with. But if I eat any of that hot spice, within an hour, my arthritis is just flaring like crazy.
Yeah.
And the other thing I noticed about this way of eating that's been absolutely incredible is I'm bipolar, and I used to get some fairly serious swings, and in about the first 3 months, it started going away. And after about 4 months, it was completely gone. Now, I have had a little bit of depression phase that I've been dealing with since we moved, but I'm attributing that to all the stress of the move and all the pain I was in. And I had to go back to using some pain medication and that kind of thing. So it's the stress can really cancel a lot of the benefits of any diet. But carnivore especially, I'm finally getting past the stress, and my back's starting to heal up again. It's been kind of a long, slow road, and I'm very impatient. I keep trying to push myself a little too fast, and then I have a setback for 3 or 4 days because I tried to do too much. But but
a lot of that's good. Like I'm glad that you're like pushing the limits, right? It's like you've got a vision for going forward. And yes, sometimes you go too far and you get to readjust, but you're listening to your body.
Well, even my hair is getting darker. Like all of my hair used to be the same color as right here, bright white. But you look at that now, and it's darkened up a lot. If you look at pictures from a year ago. My hair has gotten a lot darker. Mustache is darkening up. Eyebrows are less and less white.
That is so cool. See, I'm really excited. I think this is a whole other conversation because I think we get to go for today. But I'd really like to dig in. I have a diagnosis of bipolar as well. And so that obtrusive thoughts was what was happening to me this morning, right? Like where it was, for me, it was like, I don't know. I've never really felt like the bipolar journey really resonated with me. But I'd love to explore that more. And I think that's like a topic worthy of, really diving into at some point of how have you healed and also like for myself. And I really, like I can envision really having a really good discussion about this, about how to help other people who are struggling with this.
Well, from what you were telling me off camera, you also do some stuff with dealing with emotional trauma.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So this has been like back in 2013. When was my baby born? 2012. So like over 10 years ago, I came across the healing code. Before that, I had done the healing codes, but then I came across the emotion code with Bradley Nelson. And it was like just a really simple thing. It's muscle testing. You use muscle testing to pinpoint what problem it is that you're. In the emotion code, it's an emotion. So I have this little chart that he gave us on a magnet. Because years later I'd gone to one of his seminars and we got these magnets to take home, and this thing has been like my Dumbo's feather. It's so good. It's when you're feeling off and you're just not recognizing what's throwing you off. You can use muscle testing and a little map and just quickly dig down into it's the lack of control, or I am feeling helpless, right? Like sometimes we don't want to admit or get conscious about what's going on. And I find that the muscle testing is a workaround to really to grab onto, this is actually the problem. And when I can bring that problem to light, it's a real repentance process. Like, I always want to bring it to the Savior. I always believe that we find healing, like as a Christian, for me, I find healing through Jesus Christ, right? And so it's like, if I can just like, oh, wow, I'm feeling helpless. Well, then I think of the hymn, how Jesus Christ is the help of the helpless. And I'm like, Heavenly Father, like, please forgive me for believing that I was helpless. Or, there's a myriad of ways that you just intuitively can, when you're honest with yourself, you can release the problems that are stopping you from feeling and experiencing true joy. And so that's been amazing. And for the whole journey, especially for my kids. Like, I remember when they were little and they would be like, Mom, release our trapped emotions. Because little kids, when they're small, they don't know what that feeling is. They just know something's off and they don't know the word for it. And so as a mom, I was able to go into the room at bedtime and I would be able to be like, oh, let's release your anxiety. Let's release your despair. Let's release this, right? Like, whatever it was, I'd be able to dig into it. And they would be able to think, oh, yeah, that happened at school today. Oh, yeah, I was feeling that because my brother did this to me. Or, like, it was just a real, it's just been such a gift to me. And so actually years ago, I did get certified as an emotion code practitioner. And
nice.
for the most part, that was back when I had my fourth baby. And I had Susan Anger moved into my house, and she was my nanny. She helped me take care of my 4 little babies, and allowed me to get my emotion code practitioner license at that time. And I've never taken on a ton of clients, but I'm seeing more and more now, how it's like, oh, if I could just help you guys figure out how to get honest about what's underlying your physical problems, like, you could heal. Like, we can all heal, right? It's like there's always 90% of the time, under any physical problem, there's some kind of trapped emotion. And if it's not a trapped emotion, it's going to be something else. It's going to be, it could be some mental or memory or, there's a lot of other things. So the emotion code is just a small part of the big map that Bradley Nelson has created, and it's called the body code. And so it's so simple. It's like, if you could have a map, how would this change your life? If you could just have a map of, like, here's the possible options. It's like, is it this one? No. Okay. Is it this one? No. Yeah. Like, and then be able to find and pinpoint, oh, this is my underlying problem. Oh, okay. Well, now we can get quickly to the root and then deal with what's actually going on. So,
have you ever used the muscle testing for other purposes, or are you aware of other ones? I know one or two.
I use muscle testing on the daily. That's how I figured out my body doesn't want nightshades, right? Or coconut oil. I'm like, what? Are you for serious? No coconuts. I'm like, what's wrong with coconuts? But my body's just like, no thanks. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah. I've also used it to test for vitamin deficiencies and
absolutely
stuff like
that. Yeah, because your body knows. Yeah, what else?
Yeah. It's that muscle testing is very valuable tool. Very valuable tool.
Mm-hmm.
And self-hypnosis is another one. I know to some people, hypnosis is a bad thing, but this isn't where you got one person trying to control another with hypnosis. It's basically it's a type of very precise meditation. It's done in a specific way. Mm-hmm. I started learning it when I was like 9 or 10 years old because I had a lot of headaches, and it was a way to deal with pain in a natural way without medications and stuff. So, I mean, I was very sickly as a kid. I was born with bronchitis. I spent a lot of years in and out of the hospital, oxygen tents and stuff. I've had pneumonia like 13 times.
Wow.
And yeah, I think I had pneumonia like 6 or 7 times by the time I was 8 or 9 years old. And a couple times it was double pneumonia. And, back then it was oxygen tents in the hospital, and lots of ear infections. And it was constant. I spent years and years straight on antibiotics, which just completely messed up my system.
Absolutely. And that's so, what a what a gift, what a tender mercy that you're now experiencing healing, right? From a lifetime of suffering. So
yeah, and I've gained some knowledge, and it was made pretty clear to me. I won't get into talking about how I came to this conclusion, but suffice it to say, it was very clear to me when I discovered this way of eating and this lifestyle and started getting the healing results. It was made clear that it was my responsibility as being a beneficiary of that healing to try and help other people find the same healing.
Amen.
So I've kind of become like a health or carnivore evangelist.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same. I'm very evangelical. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. So, yeah, thank you. Well, I really thank you so much for taking time to bring me as a guest on your live stream today. I totally love it. It's awesome, and I see great possibilities for really getting your message out to help other people.
This is my first official live stream with a guest. We didn't announce it or anything. It was more, we were doing testing and figured, well, let's see how well this works and do a quick little session. So
that is fun.
For all you folks out there who follow the other side of the stuff I do with the tech stuff and whatnot, and my tutorial channel, I'm going to actually be doing a tutorial on how we are doing this live stream, because we're actually live streaming both to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. One of the programs that we're using to accomplish this can do multiple if you want to pay for it, but for free you can do 2. And you see all these fancy little designs I've got going around, the pictures and all that kind of stuff. That's another piece of free software. And then the actual conferencing that we're doing is yet another piece of software, and all these are for free. And I'm going to do a tutorial that'll show you how to do all of this stuff, all the proper settings, every step of the way. It's a little challenging to get all the steps down, but once you got it figured out, you should be able to do this for yourself. And it's something I'm happy to share. So keep an eye out for that video. It should be coming out in the next week or so.
I love that. Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm excited. If you want to hear about my journey, I'm pretty active over on Facebook. And I had reached out to you, Dave, because you were helping our good friend Nathan Hatch with his YouTube channel. And I just had this impression, like, I should call Nathan and Barb. And last week, and so then I called up Barb, and I talked to her for a bit, and she's like, breathes beauty. She's such a beautiful woman. I just love her. And because earlier this year I had stopped on our way north to go visit my parents. It had gotten quite late, and we're just not going to make it. So we called Barb and Nathan late at night, and they're like, sure, come over 10:30 at night. We'll make room for it. I'm like, God bless you. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful family. And then Nathan had showed me a few of his videos and stuff, and said that, oh yeah, this buddy of mine, he does my video editing. And so recently I'm like, I could really use some video editing to get my message to a broader audience. Because I've just been, as far as I've gotten so far, is figuring out how to do Facebook Live and post stuff on Facebook. And so I had reached out to you, and you're like, just helping me get this live stream going and all the things. So I'm really excited to work with you and just to bring you, help you. Let's just to cross collaborate, right? And to cross promote and say, hey, these are good things that are happening in the world. Let's get them to the people who need them, right? And that's
us small creators have to kind of stick together and help each other out. That's how we all learn to grow. I know when I started doing the YouTube stuff, I guess I've been doing it about 3 years now. I got a lot of help from a lot of people, some of it directly, some of it just, other YouTube channels, watching how they're doing things. And it's a great community amongst creators for the most part. And the smaller ones like us, we need to help each other along and help get that message out to as many as possible. And I'm so glad that you were able to come and help us do some testing today and share a little bit of what you do.
Yeah, and we should have this ready for live tomorrow for ABCs of Leadership. I'm already on L. I'm already on L. We did K today. And so I'm already on L, and I'm finally like, it's like I've been talking about how I'm like Elsa, right? I'm like, okay, we're going there, and we're gonna have to build the bridge as we go, right? It's like, because we're going a place that I've never been before. So I really appreciate you stepping in and helping me out here to get this. So I'm excited. Yeah, we're gonna keep doing the ABCs of leadership. I'm part of a really incredible group of game changers who just have huge hearts for helping and serving in multiple different areas of like human life and development and growth and goodness. So yeah.
Well, why don't you send me a couple of links to anything that you want people to know about?
Sure.
And we'll leave these live streams up. The one that's live streaming on YouTube right now, it's unlisted, but I'll go ahead and make that public when we're done.
Sure.
And,
that'll be perfect. Yeah. I'm working with
some links in there.
Sure. I'm working with Kim Groshek right now with pause power. And so that's one thing that I'd really love to invite more people into that space of just pause, right? We all get to pause when life gets super busy and crazy and we kind of lose ourselves. Just take a minute every day. And especially this time of year, we're in the remembrance season. And so I put out an invitation to people to pause for a minute a day. We have on November 11th, we do a minute of silence and as part of our ceremonies. And I'm inviting people to take a minute every day. Remember, I gotta put this plug in. Malachi 4, 5, and 6. The key to really lifting the curses in the world today is turn your hearts to your fathers, right? And fathers, turn your hearts to the children. As we can heal families and love at home, and remember that we're all God's children. We're all part of the same family. We can really lift a lot of these curses and problems in the world today. So take your time. Remember somebody who's given, loved, sacrificed, served, cared, hugged, whatever they've done. Maybe they've swept the floors at your grocery store. Like, there's so many good people on your team. And if you take time to remember them and say thank you, it's a good thing. Brings us all together. So.
All right. So,
awesome.
Trina Burgess, everyone. Okay, we're going to end the stream here, folks.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully next time I'll announce it ahead of time.
Absolutely. So good. So good, Dave. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you.
Okay, just hang tight while I end the stream, and we'll connect for a couple of minutes afterwards.